So when we are working on speed, there are three things that we have to take note of. Distance means how long or how far. Okay, speed, how fast. Okay, time, well, time is how long as well, how much time. Okay, so generally the keywords that I think of is this is how far. Okay, this is how fast. And this is how long. Okay, impatient people will, how long do you need, how long do you need? Okay, so basically three keywords: distance, speed, time. When you're working on questions with under speed, the topic of speed, you always will have to work on these three things. How are they related? Well, distance will be determined by the speed and the time. Okay, how much I cover. Okay, how long I cover, how far I cover, depends on how much time I have. It depends on how fast I drive, correct? Now I have, sometimes we drive from Singapore to, let's say, Kuala Lumpur. All right. Generally, if you drive averagely, it should take you about 5 hours. Okay, about 5 to 6 hours. If you want to stop by for a pee break, stop by for a tea break. All right. So you might take about 5 to 6 hours generally. Okay. Now, there was one time when my uncle wanted to drive back from KL, from Kuala Lumpur to Singapore. And because we were all in Kuala Lumpur and then having a holiday, but my son had to come back for a competition. Okay, for a competition, and my uncle says, "Oh, no, not to worry. I am driving, so I can send him back to Singapore." And then we said, "Okay, so how much time do you need so we can prepare him and things like that?" He said, "Oh, I only need 3 hours." How is that possible? The distance is the same, right? From Singapore to KL, KL to Singapore, the distance is the same. Why is it that if I drive, it takes me 6 hours, but when he drives, it takes him 3 hours, half the time? The only possibility is he was speeding. He was driving faster. Yeah? Okay, so the speed will determine. Okay, and then of course the time as well. Okay, the example I gave you is actually a good example for all three. Okay, so how do we ever find distance? How much distance can I cover? All right, to find distance, very simply, you just take the speed. Let's say I'm driving at 80 kilometers per hour, and I times the amount of time I need. Okay, so if let's say I'm driving at 80 kilometers per hour, I times 2 hours, I know that, the amount of distance I can cover is 80 times 2, which is 160. Okay, so that's how I find the distance, right? Now, how about the speed? How do I know how fast somebody was driving? Well, I can, because if I know the distance, let's say the distance from Singapore to Kuala Lumpur, I know the distance, right? And then I want to know how fast my uncle was driving versus how fast I was driving. Okay, I take the amount of time, the distance, and I divide it by the amount of time. Okay? He took 3 hours. So of course his speed will be greater, right? I took 6 hours. My speed will be less than his. Okay, so to find speed, I'll take distance divided by time. All right? And then how to find time? Very simply, I take distance divided by speed. All right? I look at how far I want to travel from here to maybe Penang or something, and then I have to use what is my comfortable speed? My comfortable speed is maybe about 70 kilometers per hour, 80 kilometers per hour. Then I have to do my division, and I know that, estimated, I need maybe 9 hours to drive to Penang. Let's say, I'm not sure. Okay, let's say I need 9 hours to drive to Penang. Then I have to count back. If I want to reach Penang at 5 p.m., then I have to count back what time must I leave Singapore in order to get to Penang by 5 o'clock. All right, because if I don't do that, then I will reach Penang nighttime. Then I might hit into some problem because I can't see properly at night. It's very dark. I might not be able to get into the hotel and things like that. There was one time when I was having my honeymoon in America, and then we were driving. We were driving from, I can't remember, I think it was San Francisco to Disneyland. Okay, we were going to Disneyland. Yeah, I go to Disneyland. Okay, so we were driving to Los Angeles, to Anaheim for to the Disneyland for a night, and then to play for another 2 days or something. And then my husband told me, he was a driver, my husband told me that, yeah, we have to start at this time, like in the morning, maybe 8 a.m., so that we can get to Anaheim in daytime, maybe like 2 p.m. or something, so that it's still day and we can see things and we can still walk around the place. Then I said, oh, okay, sure. That was the first time for us in America. And then we started driving. We left the San Francisco hotel, and then we were driving. And then we got distracted because we saw, hey, this looks like an interesting restaurant. Then we will say, let's go down and have a bite. So we stop, we'll have a bite. You know, a bite does not take 5 minutes, right? A bite will probably take about 45 minutes plus the queuing and things like that. So after we finish eating, we hop back into the car. We took a longer time, right? Okay, because we rested there. So from 2 o'clock, we have to stretch it. Okay, maybe we'll reach at 3. Still fine. All right, still fine. I think still okay. Still daytime. And then we continued driving. And hey, that's a factory outlet. Let's do some shopping. Okay, and then we went in and we stopped. And my husband said, we only have an hour. We have to leave this place in an hour. How can you leave a factory outlet in an hour, right? So we went shopping and shopping and shopping and shopping. And in the end, we left 2 hours later. Okay, and then it went longer, right? Okay, so the more I delay in my time, all right, then of course I will reach later. Okay, then I have to catch up, I have to speed up. All right, so this is very good illustration for you to think about. Okay, I want you to think about things like that, the distance, the traveling, how fast, how slow. If you are slow in your movement, then you will end up being late because you take a longer time to prepare. Things like that, okay? So what I've done for you here is I've written down the formula for you. Like when you learn area, you learn that length times breadth will be the area, correct? Half times base times height is the area of triangle, things like that. So this is a formula, okay? And because a lot of students have difficulty remember, so is it distance divided by time, or distance times time, or speed times distance, or time over speed? They get all confused. Somebody brilliant, not me, came up with this triangle. Okay, this is a really brilliant idea for people like me that don't remember things very well. Okay, so when I was young, when I was in primary school, this thing was already in existence, okay? So my teacher taught me this triangle. Such a clever teacher, right? Okay, so there's this triangle that you have to split. All right, and then on top here you put D, here you put S, and here you put T. Okay, now remember how I taught you that when you have half, it's actually 1 and then divided by 2. Okay, so this line is called a divide line. So same thing, this line is called a divide line, right? And then side by side, just like algebra, they are side by side. Times for algebra is like glue. You put them together. That's why it's side by side. How do you use this triangle? Very simple. If I want you to find distance, all you need to do is draw this triangle, put in the DST, and then you cover this. I want to find distance, right? Cover this. What is it? Speed times time. To find distance is speed times time. Let's do a check. Okay, to find distance, speed times time. Okay, so if I draw this triangle, D, S, and T, I cover the D, speed times time. Beautiful, isn't it? Okay, so now the next one. How then do I find speed? So I cover speed. What's this? D over T. Over means divide. Distance divided by time. Let's check. Okay, to find speed is distance divided by time. I draw the triangle for you. I almost drew it on the screen. Okay, and then speed, distance divided by time. Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, and this one, of course, I do the same thing. All right, and then I cover the time is distance divided by speed. How interesting. Okay, so this is something that you have to use your photographic memory to okay, and remember it. Okay, now earlier on I told you that I don't have very good memory. Okay, my memory is not very good. So my photographic memory will fail me sometimes. So you know what I did when I was a kid? Every time when I go into examination hall, I go into a test, okay, I would straight away, the first thing I do after writing my name is to draw this triangle. Okay, I will draw the triangle somewhere near to my name so that in case I need it, I know I can refer to it. Okay, so that's what I did to help me remember. Then along the way, of course, I've met students that are not that don't remember so well like me, and I started to think, how should I help them to remember this? What if they write it wrongly? What if they write something like SDT or something? That would be disastrous, right? Okay, so I started teaching them that, you see, when you sing your A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then what? ST, right? ST goes along, this way, alphabetical order. So you write ST first, then on top, the next one is a D. And then suddenly, there was an idea. I thought about this dog. Okay, because at home, if you have a pet dog, okay, usually every day you're supposed to bring your dog out for a walk, right? So that your dog can pee and poo, okay, in the nature, and then you got to pick it up and throw away. But some people, they don't have that kind of time or luxury. What they do is they train their dog to poo on a piece of newspaper, right? Okay, and then you clear the newspaper. So I thought of dog sits on Straits Times. Okay, so this is the dog sitting on Straits Times. Brilliant, right? Okay, yeah, I think so too. Okay, so dog sitting on Straits Times. Now, if you don't like dogs, never mind. You can have diary on top of study table. Diary on top of study table. Can you see that? You'll end up with this triangle as well. And then once you have this triangle, just cover, you will be able to work on it. Okay?